Piedmont Triad area weather. Sunny and warm weather back in the forecast for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees. And pretty clear out there for the early morning. Our low into the upper 50s. We do have a system moving in our direction through Saturday into Saturday night and rounds of showers and thunderstorms here. Saturday's high low 80s. We're down to 55 Saturday night. Small in chance for rain Sunday. More sunshine coming into and cooler, the high 75. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore for News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
Hi, everyone. It's Brian Kilmeade. Join me this morning at 10 a.m. for a fresh take on the latest breaking news. You got sports, politics, and entertainment. On the Brian Kilmeade Show, me and my guests dive into lively debates. We have discussions that matter to you. So whether you're in your morning commute or just starting your day, tune in for a unique wake-up call. Your home for the Brian Kilmeade Show is WSJS and WSJS.com. Let's explore the stories that all Americans are talking about. See you at 10 a.m.
Jerry Hunt Supercenter, the king of pre-owned cars, has stocked up and ready for you. Over 1,200 cars to choose from, including light new convertibles, just in time for spring. Need a truck? They have many makes and models to choose from. Don't buy new and lose money. Shop Jerry Hunt Supercenter, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Check out their massive inventory at jerryhuntsupercenter.com or visit Jerry Hunt Supercenter, the king of pre-owned cars in Lexington and Salisbury.
I'm a king in this game. Let it boom, let it bang.
Mercedes-Benz of Winston-Salem is offering Madison March specials. Interest rates as low as 1.99% on many new 2026 Mercedes sedans and SUVs. Game-winning pricing on all Krauth papers on site and waiting on you. Take your shot. Be a winner. Head over to Mercedes-Benz of Winston-Salem on Jonestown Road today. Mercedes-Benz of Winston-Salem. Family-owned and heavily invested in our community for 55 years. On select models, see Mercedes-Benz of Winston-Salem for full details.
Good morning, Triad, and welcome to the Daily Pulse with Steamin' Back.
Now you see me, now you don't want to talk, but I bet you won't.
Your front row seat to the voices, issues, and energy driving the Triad.
Let me calm down. Let me take it easy on, take it easy on.
Get ready to dive into the stories that matter most, the headlines shaping your day, the conversations everyone's having, and the local perspective you won't hear anywhere else.
Hold up, wait, breathe.
The Daily Pulse starts now on WSJS.
While the Carolina Hurricanes keep their foot on the gas, clearly continuing to run as the top franchise here in North Carolina, the Panthers make their first-round draft selection last night in the first round of the NFL draft. And, well, let's just say they kind of leave me wondering. It is a Friday on the Daily Pulse. Welcome in. We appreciate you being with us on WSJS.com, where you can spring into winning. We'll give you some of the great selections of prizes you can get there. You can also get all of our podcast feeds and find out any and all information you'd care to dive into on yours truly. I hope that you'll give us a call this morning at 336-777-1600 or jump in at WSJS Radio or at Stephen Beck TO on X, where we have our Pulse Pick question of the day today. Did your favorite NFL team make the right pick last night? Did the Carolina Panthers, if you're a hometown fan, get it right at number 19 last night? We'll have that for you here shortly, plus your Pulse check. And a little bit later, we've got some North Carolina headlines that don't seem to be getting much better in one avenue. Maybe some chances to get a little bit better, but it just isn't looking too great. And we got a whole new segment today. Finish the week, do something new. Then you can look forward to it all throughout this next weekend into next week. As long as it keeps going, we got something that we're calling a ding-ding update. So we'll be telling you about that here on the Daily Pulse. Right now, let's get everybody their latest headlines this morning.
Pulse Check. It's what's happening right now.
Here in North Carolina, headlines this morning: Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools have an emergency meeting over teacher rally absences. They're holding an emergency board meeting after roughly 1,800 employee absences tied to a planned educator rally in Raleigh officials are weighing how to manage staffing and school operations. Remember, there's a big rally set for the start of May, where Guilford County Schools, here even closer to us, has already said they're just going to have an optional teacher workday that day. Extremely dry conditions are driving brush and field fires across parts of the state. We'll have more on that. It's what meteorologists are now saying ain't looking good in the way of precipitation and drought conditions. And an 18-year-old North Carolina woman is being held on a $10 million bond now after federal authorities say she planned an attack targeting a Jewish day school in Houston. Appears to be one of the biggest statewide public safety stories early today. In your nation's headlines, domestic politics are also trending today. House Republicans are facing pressure from a new conservative super PAC targeting GOP lawmakers who support immigration reform. And Trump orders aggressive military action in the Strait of Hormuz now, as major outlets are leading with reports today that Donald Trump ordered the United States military to respond forcefully to any Iranian boats threatening all the different shipping channels and lanes in what has been a very tumultuous, clogged Strait of Hormuz. Last night in the NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers made their selection at number 19. But there was other teams that, of course, were on the clock before Carolina. And our Pulse Pick question of the day today, maybe you're a Panthers fan, maybe you've got another favorite team. Whoever it is that you have a rooting interest, did they make the right choice in last night's first round? 336-777-1600. Of course, the first pick is always one that's very, closely watched. No surprises last night at all. Las Vegas Raiders did select Fernando Mendoza, national championship winning quarterback for Indiana this last year, as their number one overall selection. That puts him alongside Joe Burrow, Jameis Winston, and Cam Newton as the only quarterbacks since 1967 to win the Heisman Trophy, to win a national title, and to go number one overall in the NFL draft. Was that a good selection? It better pay off. If you've got the number one pick, yes, the Raiders, you could say, need some help at quarterback. It better hit. You don't get that selection very often. And honestly, take it from the Carolina Panthers angle, who will share who they took at number 19, if you haven't heard, in a second. But they traded up, used some big ammunition to get Bryce Young just a handful of years ago. And I'm not certain that even that selection has fully been figured out, if it's a win, a loss, or maybe just kind of riding even. The good news for the Las Vegas Raiders as Fernando Mendoza comes in is, don't forget that they also have Kirk Cousins. And I know some people kind of chuckle a little bit at that. They forget that when Kirk was in Washington, he was able to strike a huge payday from his time spent there. I know since that time, I guess he also did some good things with Minnesota. That's really where it was gained traction. I should apologize about that. But either way, Kirk Cousins still, despite getting that big payday and going elsewhere to maybe not be the league's best quarterback, still rolled in a solid season a year ago with the Atlanta Falcons. He started 10 games, 5-3 as a starter. That's really not that bad. If you listen to his particular stat numbers, 61% passing for over 1,600 yards, had 10 touchdowns, 84.8 passer rating. So maybe they have their future franchise quarterback in Mendoza. He'll be able to get a little bit of time spent behind Kirk Cousins. I think that's not a bad choice. Although Fernando Mendoza, he's a character. I don't know how else to really put it. I don't know that we ever got a chance here on the Daily Pulse to share the story of his water fountain photo. So I'll say it now. Go and do yourself a favor this Friday if you want a nice little chuckle. Just search up Fernando Mendoza water fountain picture, and that describes kind of his character. Some other major storylines last night. Arizona Cardinals, kind of a surprise, I guess, taking Jeremiah Love at number 3. He's a great talent, but he's a running back. And running backs in the NFL, they have a short lifespan. Some of the fans for the Cardinals felt like maybe they needed to go offensive line, maybe quarterback instead. Speaking of quarterbacks, who has seen Sean McVay since late last night and early this morning? That's the Los Angeles Rams team who, with Matt Stafford, has their quarterback for now, and McVay made it clear that it is his team. But last night they surprised by taking quarterback Ty Simpson at number 13. And I reference the coach of that team, McVay, because a lot of people are kind of thinking McVay ain't too thrilled with that selection. Ty Simpson even shared after being taken by the Rams that he had never even had a conversation with the coach before. The Jets, maybe they finally had a decent draft. At least their fans think so. They had 3 picks, David Bailey, Omar Cooper Jr., and Kenyon Sadiq, that they were able to capitalize on. The fan bases that are happy around the Jets, the Raiders, of course, with that first pick, that's a big splash for them. But then also the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, I felt like last night's draft was pretty mundane. I stopped counting, honestly. The first 7 of 11 picks last night were position-style players. So I'm talking guys like offensive linemen, maybe a safety here and there, a cornerback, maybe an edge rusher. These are not dynamic skill playmaking spots, highlight reels. 7 of 11 of those top picks that way. Finally, we did get to number 19. And with the number 19 selection, the Carolina Panthers take Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Dan Morgan, the general manager of the Panthers, had some thoughts afterwards.
Long, athletic, physical, a guy with high upside that we're extremely excited about. Adding him to our room. I think he can play left side, he can play right side. Brings, a lot of value to us.
If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, did Dan there, the general manager, and the team get it right at number 19 with Freeling? 336-777-1600. I don't mind the pick. I don't really hate it. I'll be honest. It's again, I think a long-term play, even though Ike Ekwonu is injured, and some people are saying, okay, Freeling could come in and immediately fill a spot if need be. The thing I like most maybe about him is that it sounds like he can play right, left, or even center. So he's very versatile and can kind of bounce around the offensive line. If I was to take a lineman this early in a draft, they would almost have to be able to do that. So no matter what happens in future seasons, injuries, those type of things that you're going to battle, he's able to be utilized. But my question is, for Panthers fans, my question would be the same for Dan Morgan. Would Monroe Freeling, who's only had 17 starts, mind you, in college football, would he have been available a little bit later? Did you have to make it right then at 19, or could you have potentially tried to trade back, get a little bit more firepower for some later rounds, and still get the solid offensive lineman that works for your organization as a future play? And again, if you are a Panthers fan, or maybe not, and you have thoughts on last night's draft, share them with us at WSJS Radio or 336-777-1600. Last night for Carolina Hurricanes fans, another great night. Hurricanes defeated the Ottawa Senators in the playoffs again, 2-1, this time in Ottawa, and now hold the series lead 3-0 as Jackson Blake scored the game-winning goal late in the second period, breaking a 1-1 tie. Freddie Anderson, I question whether or not that might be a surprise in net for Rod Brindamore last night, not based on his merits. The play that he's had thus far in net for the Hurricanes is stellar. 21 saves again last night, just 1 goal allowed. It's more that he's a vet. And considering how the Hurricanes took the 2 first games of the series on home ice, Brandon Bussey, struggled down the stretch of the season, but to I would say long stretches was their number 1 choice. You could have given him the nod last night, kind of played with the house money, taken a little bit of a risk gamble scenario that if you win, then hey, nothing lost. If you lost, then you'd still have another game there that Freddie could bounce back to. But now we'll see what Rod does on Saturday when the Canes take on Ottawa again. That would be an opportunity as we head to our break for the Canes to complete the sweep, possibly 4-0, a chance that they could just move on to the next round in those NHL playoffs. While we're mentioning the Canes, though, Logan Stankoven scored the first goal in game 1, scored the first goal in game 2, scored the first goal for the Canes last night in game 3, too. Coming back, we'll have some North Carolina headlines for you, including, man, it's dry outside, here on WSJS.
Ladies and gentlemen, one does not lightly bestow distinction. Yet in the case of Geoffrey Griffin, the matter is rather splendidly clear. Casting one's vote in his favour as the Winston-Salem Journal Reader's Choice Radio Personality of the Year is not merely advisable, it is, quite frankly, the only sensible course. So I encourage you, with all due academic gravity, cast your vote now at WSJS.com. I can confirm that Geoffrey Griffin is uncommonly delightful. Off you go to WSJS.com.
You wake up in your cozy bed, step out onto your charming porch. You sip your morning coffee, savoring the peaceful view. Then you open your garage door, creaking and groaning. Time to upgrade to a sleek, silent precision garage door. Trade in that old clucker for up to $400 credit. And they offer free estimates on new doors and openers. Your morning's transformed, your home renewed. Offer ends April 30th. Visit PrecisionDoorNC.com to elevate your entryway. That's PrecisionDoorNC.com.
You'll taste it and love it.
It's time for Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters. Their specialty roasted beans offer pure, rich flavor, avoiding the plastic. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters, because your day deserves the best start. Get to their roastery for expert care and advice at 205 Neal Place in High Point. If you can't get to the store, shop online anytime.
You'll taste it and love it
at fosterhobbs.com.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? Hims can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
The Daily Pulse with Stephen Back, the soundtrack to your day in the Triad, blending headlines, opinions, and local flavor.
It's the Daily Pulse. Don't miss anything If you have to jump out of a car, well, if you're streaming at WSJS.com, it goes with you. And right there, speaking of spring into winning this morning at Springtime Winning, a banner there on the site, you click on it, you have a great shot at winning an awesome selection of prizes today. You just give us a little bit of your information. Next thing you know, you might be getting a call from our station or an email that says, hey, you won tickets to Kid Rock. Charlotte and Raleigh on May 8th and May 9th. You could choose from that, or tickets to see the Sportsman 100 at Bowman Gray Stadium on May 23rd. We have tickets to Wake Forest at Louisville at Wake Forest, I should say. We're not going to send you all the way that far. Maybe you'd like to take that trip, but sadly, it'll be at the couch this time. May 2nd. Charlotte FC taking on Toronto FC in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium on May 16th. All of those a part of our springtime of winning at WSJS.com. Back here on the Daily Pulse, our Pulse Pick question of the day today. What'd you make of the NFL draft last night? That's the other thing. Was it boring? Again, I felt like walking away from this that the draft lacked a little bit of pizzazz this time. I don't know if it's the fact that we're not getting, large numbers of skill style players in this first round. There weren't any kind of huge personalities. I don't know. Fernando Mendoza is a really nice guy. Seems like a great kid. I question some of his mannerisms and kind of the things that make him who he is. And I don't know what that really means about the way he plays the game. But what did you make of it? Did the Panthers make the right selection at number 19 if you're a Carolina fan? 336-777-1600. If you want to jump in on that. Some local North Carolina headlines this morning turned our attention back to Winston-Salem, where two teenagers have now been criminally charged after the deadly shooting earlier this week at Lineback Park. Investigators say that Joel Michael Gamble Tolliver, 18, knowingly came to that park aware that a prearranged fight was going to occur, and police allege that he participated in a fight with a male juvenile, fired a gun during that confrontation, was also one of several people shot during the incident. He was in court yesterday, and the charges filed against him were felony child abuse, felony rioting, and separate unrelated outstanding warrants that he already was supposed to be served with. He is on a $25,000 bond, and police also charged Stephen Villanueva, who is 17, yesterday with felony inciting to riot in this case. Although Villanueva is 17, he was charged as an adult, which is legally possible in North Carolina depending on offense type and circumstances. His bond is set later today. Now, while we're talking of crimes, this is a crime that I doubt would get committed very often, but it's happening so often now out towards our coast that the town is speaking out. Wilmington is asking residents, hey guys, stop stealing the metal stormwater access covers. 30 plus of those metal covers that you see near curbs, near sidewalks, have been stolen. The cost to replace each cover, Wilmington says, is around $220. So let's do some math on that. We got 30 plus of those stolen, $220 a pop. That's roughly about $6,600 so far that criminals may have gotten away with. And the city said the covers, by the way, you wouldn't think this, I don't think, but they're not decorative. They're used by public works crews to access the underground stormwater system. According to this report, most thefts have occurred in the downtown area, so it's a little bit more localized. They don't think that it's just random citywide. No exact confirmation has been made as to why. Christian, you want to fancy a guess where they're taking the stormwater drain covers and what they're doing with them after they rip them off?
They're going surfing.
That's a pretty smart thing, except it's an anchor.
I know.
You sink to the bottom with that. No, it's scrap metal. I mean, we know that, I think. I don't know what else you really do with that.
Probably just scrap metal. Yeah.
So while you just said surfing, could we surf up here, you think? Right here in the middle of the state, Triad? I'll answer it for you. No, yeah, dead dry. North Carolina's drought has now gotten to its worst level in nearly 2 decades, and forecasters say there's not much meaningful rainfall in the nearest future. Right now, 40% of the state they classify as in extreme drought conditions. Nearly 100%, which is, I think, not as bad, is in a severe drought. Meteorologists who study this kind of stuff say it's the worst spring drought North Carolina has seen in roughly 15, 20 years. Going back to 2008, they kind of are looking at that one. All right, we got the North Carolina headlines out of the way. We will have a reset here at the bottom of the hour, plus more pictures out. They don't look good again for Mike Vrabel this morning. That back on the Daily Pulse here on WSJS.
At WSJS.com, you might have noticed we're not just any news site. It's true. We've ignored the trend of limiting content to a single topic. Instead, we're bringing you news, talk, sports, and weather all in one place. Listen to us live worldwide or explore your favorite show hosts. Check out the latest concert info, join our contests, and attend live appearances. Plus, dive into our sports teams. Visit us online at WSJS.com. We're your all-in-one source for everything you love.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Piedmont Triad area weather. Sunny and warm weather back in the forecast for today. That afternoon high right around 85 degrees and pretty clear out there for the early morning. Our low into the upper 50s. We do have a system moving in our direction through Saturday into Saturday night and rounds of showers and thunderstorms here. Saturday's high low 80s. We're down to 55 Saturday night. Small in chance for rain Sunday. More sunshine coming into and cooler, the high 75. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore. For News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd on WSJF.
Embiid maybe 7-2.
He plays 6'4" a lot. He gets beat rebounding regularly late in games. You can't convince me you're a great player if you can't win the second playoff series.
Your daily dose of sports talk, reality checks, and I told you so's.
Say what, say what, say what?
Yes, I'm opinionated. I make you think, though, I hope, and react. Join me weeknights, 6 till 9, It's The Herd on WSJS.
Parents often seek three things for their kids: fun, fitness, and friendships. But sometimes it seems you can only choose two. Well, at the YMCA of Northwest North Carolina, for sports that keep your kids active, confident, and surrounded by new friends. Registration opens April 7th, so mark your calendar and let the games begin. Visit ymcanwnc.org to learn more. Let your kids play, grow, and thrive this summer at the Y.
Hungry for something fresh? Head to Bobo's Deli and Grill at 3478 Robin Hood Road. They serve the best crisp salads, hearty burgers, and deli sandwiches made with meats and cheeses sliced fresh in-house daily. Or try one of their made-to-order wraps packed with bold flavors and quality ingredients. And if you need catering for a party or meeting, large or small, Bobo's has got you covered. Come taste why locals love Bobo's Deli and Grill at 3478 Robin Hood Road beside the Robin Hood YMCA.
Life can be hectic, but Northwest Ace is here to help you tackle any project with ease. From expert advice to top-notch supplies, they've got everything you need. Why run around when you can measure twice, shop once, and get it right the first time? As your friendly neighborhood hardware store, they offer instant savings for members right in the store. Visit Northwest Ace at 3450 Robin Hood Road in Winston-Salem, online at northwesthardware.com. Northwest Ace, the healthful place.
The Daily Pulse, the sound of the triad amplified. Your front row seat to the voices, issues, and energy driving the triad.
Break in my waist, I don't play with the fakes.
Back to the Daily Pulse with Stephen Beck.
All right. Friday, Daily Pulse. Thanks for being back with us. It's Beck here, Christian Snyder producing for us, and you. Your calls, 336-777-1600, or you can hop on social media at WSJS Radio or at Stephen Beck TO to jump in on our Pulse Pick question of the day today. How did the NFL first round draft go last night? In general, maybe for your favorite team this morning, if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, how about Monroe Freeling at number 19, offensive tackle out of Georgia? Let us know your thoughts, and we'll have some more from that draft coming up in just a second. Right now, let's get you a reset going for the bottom of the hour.
1, 2, let's go.
Some local headlines. It's really dry out there, as we were sharing. That's sparking wildfires across our state. And I don't know that we've got any significant rain forecasted to be on the way. February, we received less than 1 inch of rain in many areas versus 3 inches normally. January also came well below the average. So we're at our worst level in nearly 2 decades here in the state. An 18-year-old North Carolina woman is being held on a $10 million bond now after federal authorities say she planned an attack targeting a Jewish day school in Houston. And Charlotte Mecklenburg School, now looking ahead on the calendar here, dealing with that same rally planned for teachers in May, right at the start of the month, where 1,800 employee absences are tied to that planned educator rally. Here closer, Guilford County Schools, don't forget, has already stated that that'll just be a teacher workday. Fresh images were released later yesterday in the day. These teams are getting ready for one of the biggest nights that don't revolve around playoffs in the NFL. You try to plan your future here. You got scouts working on taking a look at all of these options from college to JUCO ranks to maybe even some international born players, although that's not very popular in the NFL. And while other teams are kind of just holding pat doing their normal operations, having the pre-draft press conferences and conversations to get ready, Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots see more pictures pop out on the New York Post and their website. New England head coach Mike Vrabel and former NFL inside reporter Diana Rossini have more images this time that show them going all the way back to a bar meeting they had. And worse, as two married folks kissing in 2020. Mike Vrabel announced that he would begin counseling and step away from the team's war room for day 3 of that draft, saying, I got to focus on becoming the best husband, father, and coach that he could be. This is what Mike Vrabel shared before the draft yesterday.
I take accountability for my actions and the actions that caused a distraction to the people that I care most about. My family, this football team, the organization, and our fans.
Shortly after, make of it what you will, despite the statement released earlier by Rossini stating that she had no admission of guilt, she did make her Instagram private. She deactivated her Twitter yesterday. For the Patriots, where do they stand? You know, I know yesterday we were saying there were questions about Vrabel's job and maybe how solid ground he might be standing on. But the Patriots did come out, release a statement backing Vrabel publicly and express confidence in his leadership. The commissioner was, of course, also asked about it last night before the crowd there in Pittsburgh booed him, as they should. Roger Goodell, not my favorite league commissioner, nor is Adam Silver. Many of them aren't, but that's okay. Goodell was asked and stated that Vrabel's actions would not be investigated by the league since it doesn't go against its personnel conduct policy as of right this second. So what do we think about the draft last night? I thought it lacked fireworks. I thought it was pretty just lock, stock, and barrel, nothing crazy. I know the New York Jets, who have had abysmal draft performances in years past, their fans seem to at least be satisfied with what they did last night. They were able to make 3 selections in the first round: David Bailey, Amari Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq. The most upset fan bases, if you want to kind of know where people were unhappy, the Arizona Cardinals. It's okay to take Jeremiah Love, running back at number 3, but they felt like maybe we've got bigger fish to fry than just another, skilled running back. The Minnesota Vikings and also the LA Rams. Ty Simpson taken as a future quarterback for the Rams, even though Matt Stafford right now kind of holds the keys to that team. And afterwards, Sean McVay just, you could kind of read his posturing and his face. He didn't look like that was the right choice for that team. Carolina Panthers, they take Monroe Freeling, who I think, I've asked them to be progressive. I've asked the team to look forward. I've asked them to not always be fighting from behind, trying to push a gigantic boulder up a mountain. And so I do think last night, by taking an offensive lineman, that is a long-term play. That's a good strategy. Ike Ekwonu, we don't know. Will he be able to perform this year or not? I know they've had, at least one signing during the offseason on the free agent wire, but yeah, if you pick up a guy that can be very versatile, he can go left, he can go right, he can play in the center, then I think you've made a smart choice if you just look at it on that case. But was the timing the smartest it could have been? That would be my question today. Would Monroe Freeling have been there, let's say, I don't know, pick number 28? Could you have picked up a little bit more stock and moved back potentially? 336-777-1600, your calls on the draft this morning. Some breaking news in the world of golf just came out. Jim Furyk is returning as the U.S. Ryder Cup captain for 2027. For those that may not know, that was a question being proposed to Tiger Woods before he had his own incident of images
with his car rolled over and having to go kind of into hiding, but also he's getting some counseling and some things that he needs for his own personal life. And just around that same timing, was he going to play the Masters? Was he going to take over the Ryder Cup captaincy for 2027? Of course, all that had the brakes put on it immediately. So now Jim Furyk will be a third-time captain for a United States team. He did so in 2024 at the President's Cup, and the team did win that time, 18.5 to 11.5, usually a little bit easier against the international team as opposed to the European team in the Ryder Cup. That's where, for Jim Furyk, it wasn't so good in 2018. Our U.S. team lost to Europe 17.5 to 10.5 that time. The European team running back Luke Donald again, which he's just, this is second nature for him at this point. Before we move any further, we got a brand new thing here to share with you on the Daily Pulse. A ding-ding update. Daily. We're going to keep this rolling, Christian, who's producing this program here this morning, to just stand back in awe, admire, learn, be, I don't know if it's introspective, because what could we really figure out from this? Do you know the name Jamie Ding?
I'm not familiar with it, I don't believe.
Okay. I don't know that many people probably would be. I haven't really been, except for just following the news over the past, I'd say last week or two. So now, with our Ding Ding update, Jamie Ding, who is he? He's a 33-year-old man from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, a law student there, works in the public sector, housing finance related work. Every single episode of Jeopardy that he's been on thus far, he wears orange. He's pretty calm. Got quick buzzer timing, so you like that from a strategy standpoint. Jamie Ding has continued a run that is very, very impressive. And I've held off on this a little bit because I didn't want to jinx it. You know, I didn't want to point attention to it. I don't know if I'm superstitious really, but you know, it's like, it's when we were talking about the draft today, when an NFL kicker has a big field goal to make late in the game, he hasn't missed in, 5 games. He's 27 for 27. And then the announcer comes on and says, "This is a big kick, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever it is, they've been 27 of 27 all season long." If you just imagine this, Jim Nantz, maybe. What do you think happens next? Wide right. Field goal missed. So I'm worried about that for my man, Jamie Ding. 29 consecutive games he's won on Jeopardy. Total regular earnings so far, $793,602. Where does that push him into all-time winnings on Jeopardy, you might ask, with 29? That puts him in 5th place right now. Ken Jennings still dominating that ranking list. 74 is how many times he won straight. Amy Schneider, 40. Matt Amadio, 38. And James Holzhauser, 32. So he's almost there to catch up with James. But that puts him right now 5th place all time. So as long as he keeps his stretch alive, right here on the Daily Pulse, you can be sure to get your Ding Ding update. We're going to take our break. Coming back afterwards, if you have a thought on the NFL draft, share that with us this morning. If you don't have a thought, maybe you do on this. You trust an automated car, then trying to be in an automated parking garage. How do you figure that out? We're back on the Daily Pulse on WSJS.
Springtime winning at WSJS.com is putting the bling in spring up for grabs. Tickets to see Kid Rock May 8th and 9th in Raleigh and Charlotte. Tickets to Bowman Gray Racing for the Sportsman 100 May 23rd. Tickets to Wake Forest Baseball May 2nd as they welcome Louisville to the couch. Or tickets to Charlotte FC and Toronto FC May 16th at the bank. Sign up now at WSJS.com. and put the bling in spring.
Extreme ice racing is coming to Winston-Salem. 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds with no brakes. Extreme International Ice Racing, Speedway Bites. Riders from all over the world, including the Thunder Colby Long, the British Bulldog, Kyle Lego Legault, Iceman, and more. Plus go-kart strikes and kids. Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th at the Fairgrounds Arena in Winston-Salem. That's Extreme Ice Racing in Winston-Salem. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. You get the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Todd Starnes. Join me at 12 noon for the Todd Starnes Show as we dive into the latest in politics, faith, and culture news. You'll hear from top newsmakers and have the chance to share your thoughts.
Tell me something.
Don't miss out on the conversation that matters to you. Make the Todd Starnes Show your home for insightful discussions and lively debates on News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS, and WSJS.com.
The Triad's heartbeat every day. This is the Daily Pulse with Stephen Back.
Back on the Daily Pulse. I'm back here with you. Just going to kind of sit and soak that in for a second. Let my brain try to weigh the options at the moment that I could do with that. Christian, you're one of them right now that I'm just looking at.
Happy to be here, Stephen. Happy to be here.
Oh, man. All right. Well, this is as exhilarating as maybe this next story here. I find this, if you try to play all the possibilities out, you kind of try to just figure out if this would work or not. Our capital of Raleigh, of course, big city, Charlotte, they're usually going to probably be on the forward edge of technology here, of things that would help get people to and from places and work around larger populations. Greensboro, Winston would be right behind that. Maybe Wilmington out towards the coast. The question that I'm trying to figure out is, if you have automated cars, so we're already, in a pretty good direction of that being more and more reality, of course. You already have, Teslas that can drive themselves around. People will just book like an Uber almost, and the car will just show up and you hop in, and the next thing you know, you're off. And you go, and nobody's actually driving except for the computer. But then when it comes to bigger city areas where parking and the real estate to do it is at a disadvantage, fortunately, I've never had to live in a place where just finding a spot for the car. Sometimes it means that you have to walk a few extra steps, but it's not like completely impossible It's funny, actually, while I'm talking about this, I got caught, just kind of in the daydreaming mode of watching mindless videos on the internet. And one of the ones I stumbled upon was cleaning roadways in cities and how the cars have to move, like for street sweepers and the chest playing that people have to do, because one day the street sweeper comes down this side of the road, and then the next day the street sweeper comes down the opposite side. And so all the cars have to shuffle and switch sides. It was, I don't know why I got locked in on that. Clearly I had more time on my hands than I probably should have, but it was interesting watching that play out. Well, here in Raleigh, to get to the point, automated cars may now be able to pull in and park at an automated parking garage. So not only will you have driverless vehicles, you also have in the parking garage no attendants or anybody to work it. And the machines there in the midst of both of those things will have to coexist. They'll have to work together. They'll have to make this happen in a 228 space facility that they're thinking about with the Catalyst project called the Gateway Corridor in Raleigh. So this is how it might work. Drivers would leave their vehicle in a loading bay. A robotic pallet system stores the vehicle automatically. No human valet. Vehicles are retrieved through an automated system. AutoParkit, who is responsible for this technology, says that could be with standard cars that people are driving, or it could be with like future autonomous vehicles like we're already talking about. A Tesla or whatever just shows up and it's going to try to park itself. I'm trying to think about realistically how the two are going to communicate and all the variables about that. There's got to be some type of technology is very, very confusing for me at times. It can be. I feel like I'm up to speed. A simple iPhone doesn't like leave me stumped for hours, but I'm saying something like this, I feel like all it's going to end up creating is chaos. All you're going to hear. This is it. It's like the next 3 hours of time each time an autonomous car pulls up at this garage. You're just gonna hear cars honking, people screaming probably if they're trying to be the ones to park their car. It's going to be mayhem.
We have gotten really lazy as a society, haven't we?
Well, I for like big cities, I guess I understand the concepts around it. It's like you got to have parking garages, and if you can't find attendants that will work them or valets, and maybe there's some kind of been some kind of big move in the way of valets just like quitting the industry. I don't know. I just don't see how that's going to coexist in the most efficient manner, but maybe. All right. It's been a fun week. We will be back with a brand new Daily Pulse coming up on Monday. Don't miss me on Waking Up Proud tomorrow, though, right here on WSJS. Starts at 9, goes to 11. Hope you'll join us then, and stay where you are for Brian Kilmeade next on WSJS.
Pump up the volume, let's start the show. Everybody get loose. Come